So hey team, one of the questions I got asked was how are laws actually passed in this place? We'll try and reconcile sort of the process from outside the beehive, outside Parliament. It's quite a convoluted, quite a confusing thing. So I thought I might run a few colours up the mast to give you some ideas how laws are passed in New Zealand. We go through a legislative process and, you know, without over explaining it, it's kind of like this, a first reading of a piece of legislation. Then we have what we call a committee, and a select committee meets on the back of that first reading of legislation. So you might say someone's come up with a bright idea about changing laws. The Parliament hears that, has this first reading process, and then we call, as parliamentarians, we call for submissions. Basically, that means that we get on the blower, you send out an email to all that are interested and say, hey, what do you think? This might be something that New Zealand could adopt as a new law, hopefully making New Zealand a little bit easier and a little bit better tomorrow than today. We call for those submissions. Usually they're somewhere in the 6 to 3 month period, and we hear from you guys. It's your ideas. Is the law good? Is it fit for purpose? Will it help New Zealand? Will it hinder New Zealand? Then we have that process. We get people in, either writing in or orally. People come in and present to us as politicians, the suit wearers, the bureaucrats, the shiny bums. We all convene and we meet and we listen to real Kiwis. Because at the end of the day, it's real Kiwis that are affected by this stuff. After all of that, we deliberate on what we've heard. We culminate all that evidence together and agree or disagree whether it should go into a second reading process. Now, second reading process is where legislation is heard in the House on the back of the evidence that we've heard from you. We then litigate the issues, what we found, what the public said, what the public didn't like, what the public did like. We litigate all those issues, and then invariably, without overcomplicating it, it goes into a committee stage. Now, the committee stage is between the second and the third reading. I know it's all a bit confusing, but what that does is allow us to do small legislative tweaks to the law. Law is an evolving thing, and I just make a couple of thoughts. Rushed law is bad law, and invariably there's an old saying that we've heard more than once. It's more important to kill bad bills than pass good ones. So we listen to you. We go from a first to a second to a third reading with you involved all the way through. And in that committee stage before the third reading, we tweak it, we tidy it up. The third reading happens, and by virtue, we then have what they call royal assent. And the law as a bill becomes an act. And that journey, hopefully, has taken quite a lengthy period of time. To my former remarks, we don't want to rush this stuff. We absolutely want to engage with you good people and make damn sure that the laws help New Zealand and not hinder them.